Brought to you by WikiVD Documentaries. Caliphate.
A caliphate is a territory under the leadership of an Islamic steward known as a caliph. A person considered a religious successor to the Islamic prophet Muhammad, and a leader of the entire Muslim community. Historically, the caliphates were polities based in Islam which developed into multi-ethnic transnational empires. During the medieval period, three major caliphates existed: the Rashidun Caliphate, the Umayyad Caliphate and the Abbasid Caliphate. The fourth major caliphate, the Ottoman Caliphate, established by the Ottoman Empire in 1517, was a manifestation whereby the Ottoman rulers claimed caliphal authority.
During the history of Islam, several other Muslim states, almost all of them hereditary monarchies, have claimed to be caliphates. Prior to the rise of Muhammad and the unification of the Arab tribes of the Arabian Peninsula under Islam, the tribes of Arabia followed a pre-Islamic Arab polytheism, lived as self-governing sedentary and nomadic communities, and often raided the neighboring tribes.
Following the conquests under Muhammad of the Arabian Peninsula, the region became unified, and most of the tribes adopted Islam. The first caliphate, the Rashidun Caliphate, was established immediately after Muhammad's death in 632. The four Rashidun caliphs, who directly succeeded Muhammad as leaders of the Muslim community, were chosen through shura, a process of community consultation that some consider to be an early form of Islamic democracy.
The fourth caliph, Ali, who, unlike the prior three, was from the same clan as Muhammad, is considered by Shia Muslims to be the first rightful caliph and imam after Muhammad. Ali reigned during the first fitna, a civil war between supporters of Ali and supporters of the assassinated previous caliph, Uthman, from Banu Umayyah, as well as rebels in Egypt. The war led to the establishment of the Umayyad Caliphate under Muawiyah I in 661.
The Umayyad Caliphate was ruled by Banu Umayyah, a Meccan clan with descent from Muhammad's great-great-grandfather. The Caliphate continued the Arab conquests, incorporating the Caucasus, Transoxiana, Sind, the Maghreb and the Iberian Peninsula into the Muslim world.
The Caliphate had considerable acceptance of the Christians within its territory, necessitated by their large numbers, especially in the region of Syria. Following the Abbasid Revolution, from 746,750, which primarily arose from non-Arab Muslim disenfranchisement, the Abbasid Caliphate was established in 750. The Abbasid Caliphate was ruled by the Abbasids, a dynasty of Meccan origin which descended from Hashim, a great-grandfather of Muhammad, making them part of Banu Hashim, via Abbas, an uncle of Muhammad. Hence the name.
Caliph el-Mansur founded its second capital of Baghdad in 762, which became a major scientific, cultural and art center, as did the territory as a whole during this period, a period known as the Islamic Golden Age. From the 10th century, Abbasid rule became confined to an area around Baghdad. From 945 to 1157, the Abbasid Caliphate came under Umayyad and then Seljuk military control. In 1250, a non-Arab army created by the Abbasids called the Mamluks came to power in Egypt.
In 1258, the Mongol Empire sacked Baghdad, ending the Abbasid Caliphate. And in 1261, the Mamluks in Egypt re-established the Abbasid Caliphate in Cairo. Though lacking in political power, the Abbasid dynasty continued to claim authority in religious matters until the Ottoman conquest of Mamluk Egypt in 1517.
The fourth major caliphate, the Ottoman Caliphate, was established after their conquest of Mamluk Egypt in 1517. The conquest gave the Ottomans control over the holy cities of Mecca and Medina, previously controlled by the Mamluks. The Ottomans gradually came to be viewed as the de facto leaders and representatives of the Islamic world.
Following their defeat in World War I, the empire was partitioned by Britain and France. And on the 3rd of March 1924, the first president of the Turkish Republic, Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, as part of his reforms, constitutionally abolished the institution of the caliphate. Several other states that existed through history have called themselves caliphates, including the Ismaili Shia Fatimid Caliphate in northeast Africa, the Umayyad Caliphate of Cordoba in Iberia, the Berber Almohad Caliphate in Morocco, and the Fula Sokoto Caliphate in present-day northern Nigeria.
The Sunni branch of Islam stipulates that, as the head of state, a caliph should be a Muslim. Followers of Shia Islam, however, believe a caliph should be an imam chosen by God from the Ahl al-Bayt. In simpler terms, the Sunni majority favor election while the Shia minority favor bloodline. Etymology. Before the advent of Islam, Arabian monarchs traditionally used the title Malik, or another, from the same root. The term caliph derives from the Arabic word, which means successor, steward, or deputy, and has traditionally been considered a shortening of Caliphat Rasul Allah. However, studies of pre-Islamic texts suggest that the original meaning of the phrase was successor selected by God. Succession to Muhammad. In his book The Early Islamic Conquest, Fred Donner argues that the standard Arabian practice at the time was for the prominent men of a kinship group, or tribe, to gather after a leader's death and choose a leader from amongst themselves.
There was no specified procedure for this shura, a consultation. Candidates were usually, but not necessarily, from the same lineage as the deceased leader. Capable men who would lead well were preferred over an ineffectual heir. Sunni Muslims believe that Abu Bakr was chosen by the community, and that this was the proper procedure. The Shia believe that Ali, the son-in-law and cousin of Muhammad, was chosen by Muhammad as his spiritual and temporal successor as the Mawla of all Muslims in the event of Ghadir Qum.
Here Muhammad called upon the around 100,000 gathered returning pilgrims to give their bay'ah to Ali in his very presence, and thenceforth to proclaim the good news of Allah's succession to his leadership to all Muslims they should come across. The caliph was often known as Amir al-Mu'minin. Muhammad established his capital in Medina. After he died, it remained the capital during the Rashidun Caliphate, before Kufa was reportedly made the capital by Caliph Ali. At times there have been rival claimant caliphs in different parts of the Islamic world, and divisions between the Shia and Sunni communities. According to Sunni Muslims, the first caliph to be called Amir al-Mu'minin was Abu Bakr, followed by Umar, the second of the Rashidun. Uthman and Ali also were called by the same title, while the Shia consider Ali to have been the only truly legitimate caliph of these four men. After the first four caliphs, the caliphate was claimed by the Umayyad Caliphate, the Abbasid Caliphate, and the Ottoman Empire, and for relatively short periods by other competing dynasties in Al-Andalus, North Africa, and Egypt. After the collapse of the Ottoman Empire, Mustafa Kemal Atatürk officially abolished the system of caliphate in Islam as part of his secular reforms and founded the Republic of Turkey in 1923. The kings of Morocco still label themselves with the title Amir al-Mu'minin for the Moroccans but lay no claim to the caliphate. Some Muslim countries, including Somalia, Indonesia and Malaysia, were never subject
to the authority of a caliphate, with the exception of Aceh, which briefly acknowledged Ottoman suzerainty. Consequently, these countries had their own local sultans or rulers who did not fully accept the authority of the caliph. Thank you for watching. Brought to you by WikiVD Documentaries. Please like and subscribe below. Please like and subscribe below.